Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Taste of RPGs. My name is Audrey. I'm here as usual with Marissa and Christopher. And we thought this month we would do an extra special episode of A Taste of RPGs and not play a game together at all. So what we have done instead is we all went to our own separate lives and played solo RPGs, and we're going to come back and report how they were to you all today. So I'm going to kick it off. I went and I played Amending, which was kickstarted last year now in 2021. It's by, oh no, I'm going to murder her name, but Xing Yin Kor. I think she just won a big award too. She's a game designer that's really into keepsake RPGs. So the idea of this game is that you're about to go on a journey to visit a dear friend, like someone you were really close with but that you haven't seen in a long time. And the game comes with a map, and every time you cross the line of a map, you draw a card and kind of answer a question about your friend and your relationship. So it's very For the Queen-esque. And the other thing that was really cool about this game is that she gives you paper with the game if you want, so you can do it in pen and paper, or you also can get cloth and embroider it. So I did, this is my journey to go see my friend. So it was a really fun RPG it was a really fun playing experience, because the act of sewing kind of made you slow down, and I feel like I sat with the prompts longer than I would have otherwise. I really liked it. It was a super fun game. It's one of those that's super reflective though, so you think a lot about the nature of friendship, and particularly I think I found myself reflecting on friendships that I had for a long time and how they've changed over time, because that's kind of really what it's getting at. And those friends that you used to be super close with because you saw them all the time, but now from high school or elementary school or college, but now your lives are kind of in different places, but you're still in touch. So you don't, like I said, you don't have to be a sewing person to play this game. There's a paper version. I think you can find it online by Googling Amending, but I really liked it. I thought it was super fun. And I had a really good time with the embroidery and stuff. There was something about the embroidery and the imperfectness of embroidery that caused my path to meander in ways that I didn't anticipate. So I really liked it. And that is, and all the little buttons and stuff on there are events. This was a thing that randomly became impassable. So cool stuff happened on the way too. It felt very Middle Earthy in a way, a gentle version of, obviously we're not fighting orcs or something, but that long journey that is part of the Lord of the Rings, that there was that element to it a little bit. So I liked it. But so that was the one I did.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks very cool. It's cool you end up with an object too.
Yeah. And that's her thing, is she's very into keepsake RPGs. So she'll do stuff where you journal and stuff as part of your RPG. It's cool. I recommend checking her out, even if you don't play the game.
Well, I will tell you what I played. So I played a game I do not know how to pronounce. it's a dialect of Polish, so but it means peak black.
Hmm.
And I think I stumbled upon it because it's vaguely based off of Dark Fort, or remind me how to say it, Christopher. I always say Morkborg, but I know it's not right.
Christopher, the speaking expert.
Yep.
Merk Borg.
That. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Wait,
I said.
really? That's how you say? Okay.
I think so. I don't know.
Merc. Nope.
Um,
Morgborg. Okay.
Yeah. So this is what I played. It's only loosely based on that system, and it's kind of set in the Polish Carpathians Mountains folklore. I think I actually found it because I was reading an article about the woodcuts that are used in it, which I really like printing. So it has all these cool like images in it. And I wanted a game that I didn't have to journal for because I didn't really want to just write for this. I liked the flavor of lot of you're kind of just exploring the mountains. So you start in a certain spot and you roll a d4 and it tells you how many paths there are, and you basically just pick one. And then every time you get to a spot, there's like an encounter and like you do certain things. I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I died at some point, but it felt a lot closer to playing a game with people than I thought it would. Like it's just fun even when you're just rolling against yourself to give yourself damage. And the dice, no, there's definitely a time where I was like, well, I don't want to die quite yet, so I'm maybe gonna fudge this. And then I just kept rolling the same number and I was like, well, okay, I'm dead. So okay. You win, dice. But it was very cool. I think it is it's sort of a choose your own adventure ish. Like I think there's limited replayability, but I could definitely probably replay it at least one more time, maybe twice. But it's also very short. This is only, I don't know, 20 pages or so. And there's a little character sheet that you can kind of fill out, but you're kind of encouraged to like draw your own little map, which is just, there's nothing really drawn, but yeah, it's very cool. I had a lot of fun. Like a surprising amount of fun.
I love Slavic folklore, so that looks like a great game.
Yeah, I thought about you when I played it.
Well, I chose this game called Into the Woods. It's by Nathan Melhorn, and
Is
it's
it,
available.
did you start singing when you started playing it, Christopher?
No.
I'm sorry. I could not. There's a musical, a really famous musical called Into the Woods, and I was like, oh, do we just do a music? Is it a musical based?
That would be a great idea for an RPG, though.
I think it depends who you play with. I don't know that anyone wants me singing.
Well, I can't believe the explosion in games that people are coming up with.
Yeah.
So this is a survival game. You are trying to survive one whole year in the woods. And it combines aspects of a board game as well as an RPG, which I really enjoyed a lot. There are some traits that you only get your bonuses for if you are if you're role playing. And so you can keep a whole journal, and it really does invite you to fill in all the details of what the encounter is. Basically, you're trying to last 12 months out of the year, and you use a regular deck of cards split into their suits. So you're going to draw 4 cards, one of each suit every turn. That tells you what the weather is, that tells you what you encounter, if there are any variants on that encounter, and what trait you're going to use or what skill you're going to use to try to overcome that encounter. It was so much fun and such a fast game, but also, like I said, it really does invite you to fill in all the details. It would make a great 0-level game to kind of give you a background to start another campaign with something. And it's so adaptable. You could write all kinds of different encounters for this. And there are these special events that happen. And I thought one of the clever parts is some of the encounters you have forego other things. So you get this really interesting combination of the cards coming out. And of course, it also depends on what season you're in. So if you draw one card and you're in the spring season, it'll have a different meaning than if you're in any other season. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed playing it. And there is an expansion to it that I think I'm going to pick up as well and give that a try. So
that's awesome.
I had the same thought playing mine, that a lot of the solos that I found could easily become like session zeros for other games or background characters. Like there's just a lot of, because you're intentionally like a lot more world building stuff that you
right
are doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of all lends itself to this idea of even throwing in more than one game into a campaign. Like, you know, if you are going on a journey, have this side quest and pick up this other game, you know. So
yeah, it was, playing by myself was really interesting because like I think particularly the type of like because of the game I picked, it turned into like a really it was like world building but also really reflective in a way that I didn't expect. Like I said, ended up thinking about like my life a lot. So like mine, I think maybe was more reflective just in the way that it was, but also I can see how you could totally turn it into like a world building sort of deal, because you have, at the end of it, you have these two characters, because it's not you and your friend. So like you have these two characters that could like, I mean, the obvious parallel is like Galinda and what's her name? Elphaba from like Wicked, like the background of that, where you have two friends who then at the end of it aren't friends anymore. And like, what does that story look like? So it would be like a really good way to deep dive with two of your characters.
right.
Yeah, because that was another thing that stood out to me, was how different all three of these were. Like I thought the mechanics for solo RPGs would be more similar. And no. So that's cool.
Yeah. I was kind of worried about the same thing, because most of them that I was finding was like letter writing or journaling or just kind of like writing based, which I didn't really want to do at this particular time in my life. But I found other games with like very interesting mechanics of like using Jenga towers and decks of cards and like tokens and all kinds of cool stuff. So there's definitely a lot of stuff out there.
Well, that was our solo episode. I don't know who's running what next time, but we all know what game we'll be playing, and that's Fiasco. So we'll see you guys then. Bye.